Today, all new, uncensored, unplugged, unapologetic. America's favorite dad is on fire.
The signs are there. God, dandruff, this is not a joke.
Bill Cosby.
You've got to think, people. You know it's wrong.
Next.
Well, we all know Bill Cosby as America's dad, the lovable Cliff Huxtable from The Cosby Show. No matter who you are or where you've lived, you know about the Huxtables. But 3 years ago, he gave an unexpected, uncensored speech that got everybody talking.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lower economic and lower middle economic people are not holding up their end in this deal. In the neighborhood that most of us grew up in, parenting is not going on. They're buying things for the kid. $500 sneakers. For what? And won't buy or spend $250 on Hooked on Phonics. Now look, I'm telling you, it's not what they're doing to us. It's what we're not doing. 50% dropout. And look, we're raising our own ingrown immigrants. Brown versus the Board of Education. These people who marched and were hit in the face with rocks and punched in the face to get an education. And we got these knuckleheads walking around, don't want to learn English. I know that you all know it, but I just want to get you as angry as you ought to be. I can't even talk the way these people talk. Why you ain't where you is, go where? I don't know who these people are, and I blamed the kid until I heard the mother talk. And then I heard the father talk. This is all in the house.
Well, since that speech, it's so interesting because when you hear the whole speech, the audience is responding. There's laughter and approval because most of the people in that room knew that what was being said was true. But since that speech, it was labeled controversial, and Bill Cosby has been on a mission to make people begin to think about what he was saying. He's traveled from city to city, lecturing about the true state of despair. And I'm telling you, it is a desperate situation of minority children in the United States of America. The statistics will just knock you off your feet. Listen to this. At least a third of all homeless men are African American. African Americans make up 12% of the general population, but almost half of the prison population. And according to the U.S. Justice Department, 28% of black men born today will go to prison in their lifetime. Black youth are 6 times more likely to die of homicide than white youth. Homicide is the leading cause of death among African American males aged 15 to 29, the leading cause of death. Now, one reporter said this about Bill Cosby's crusade. He said that these problems have been going on for years, but few people have called them out with as much force, with as much determination, passion, and credibility as Bill Cosby. So, welcome, Bill Cosby, to the show. Yes.
Okay, stop. There's a couple of things I want clarity on. It's not every African American. We're talking about some.
Yeah.
And the sum happens to be the numbers that are very, very hurtful.
Yeah.
Because the sum happens to come from those homes where the parenting doesn't build confidence in a child, where the parents may be on drugs.
Yeah.
They may have all kinds of problems.
Right. Okay, let me say, Bill Cosby's written a new book with longtime friend, civil rights veteran, and renowned Harvard psychiatry professor, Dr. Alvin Poussant, and it is called Come On, People.
Come on, people.
Come on, people.
And I just want all of you to understand, Brown versus the Board of Education. That speech, whatever it is, what's missing is when I say it's not what they're doing to us, it's what we're not doing, that comes from a prize fight. I saw a prize fight, and the fighter was winning the first 5 rounds. He then changed his style, and he got hit. Whoop, and he's going around like this, and he survives. He sits down, his manager says, go back to the way you were doing it. And the guy goes back, and he fights the wrong way again. Whoop, and he says, now the next 3 rounds. Okay, now he sits down, and I'm watching, and the manager said, look, David, it's not what he's doing to you. It's what you're not doing. And to me, that was the clarity of you're not parenting. You're not getting with your child, your children, whomever it is, and saying to them, there's more to this. Who is that you're playing with? Why don't you have homework?
Yeah.
Let me see these things. I've got to go visit the teacher. And I never said there's no such thing as systemic or institutional racism.
Yeah, you never said that. Yeah.
I'm saying we got to dig in and fight. The same way that you and I were protected by our grandparents. We need to see the problem the same way and protect our children.
Okay, let me tell you, after this speech that you did, and it was labeled controversial, did you regret having done the speech?
No, no. The only thing I regretted was I thought that I was talking to just my people.
Yeah.
And so...
And there is a certain way we talk when we think there's only us in the room.
Yeah.
There's a certain way, yeah.
I said, okay, I'm going to talk to my people. So I guess maybe there's some black people who saw some white people sitting around, and then they decided that I was dragging out dirty laundry.
Did you think you were dragging out dirty laundry?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And have you ever seen dirty laundry?
It's bad, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's smelly.
And we have to clean it, don't
yes,
we?
we need to clean it.
Now, these people who talked about the dirty laundry somehow only cared about the laundry. They didn't care about the children. I said in my speech, our children are trying to tell us something, and we're not listening. We're afraid to talk to them.
Yeah. What did you think, though, Bill, when everybody really came after you? What did you think?
I thought they were crazy.
Did you?
I said, these people have lost their minds. Now, how can you, with the drugs in the neighborhood, how can you excuse a drug dealer? Mm-hmm. If you look at the domino effect of I sell you crack cocaine, woman, you become an addict.
Yeah.
You give up your body for some money to some man who has AIDS. Yeah. You get pregnant. Yeah. Your child is infected. Yeah. It starts to domino. Yeah. The movies come out. It's hard out here being a pimp. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Okay.
No, that won an Academy Award, that song.
For the music. See, we're not of that time when we sing for the master anymore. Yeah. Oh, why don't you come on? We don't do that anymore. Yeah. What we do is we call you all kinds of names, and then I say to you, why are you listening to that? Yeah. And you say, I like the beat. Yeah. We're not making any sense. There's some insanity going on here. Yeah. Well, but the woman, let me just get this one thing, because it's wonderful. So this girl, the guy comes to her, and he says to her, I want you, you're good looking, I want you to be a prostitute. So she says, well, how do you do this?
Is this true or is this a joke?
This is not a joke. Okay. This is true.
Okay. So you're Bill Cosby, I don't know. You're telling a joke? Right. Okay.
Right. She said, here's what, let me tell you, this is what you want me to do. You're going to bring me a man that I don't know. Mm-hmm. The guy said, that's right. She said, then I'm going to let him do whatever he wants to do. She said, that's right. She said, then he gives me some money. He said, right. She said, and then what do I do with the money? He said, you bring it to me. She said, I told him no. But look, how is it hard out here being a pimp? There are other jobs in this world.
Yeah.
And we managed to justify that.
Yeah.
A woman said, who was an actress, and somebody questioned the role she was playing. She said, well, would you rather have me playing this role or waiting for you in the alley with a lead pipe? We've gone crazy.
Because there are other places in between she could go.
Well, you found a job.
Coming up. Coming up. Hey, what's with the glasses anyway?
Is it red?
Oh, your eye. Oh, you had an eye. Oh, yeah, it is red.
Yeah.
Put them back on. Okay. We'll be right back. Back in a moment.
Coming up, where have all the fathers gone? Bill Cosby's fired up about that next.
Well, a house without a father is a challenge. A neighborhood without fathers is a catastrophe. That is what Bill Cosby and Dr. Alvin Poussant write in their new book, Come On, People, which was titled from your granddaughter, right? Who
in the post office, she's 3 years old. She's standing with me. We're waiting for stamps in the Ray Charles post office. And she's going, and the line is hardly moving. And, Poppy, we're going to get so finally, I said, well, the people are moving a little too slowly. And the next thing I know, she said, come on, people!
Well, one of the things that is so striking about the book is that you all speak in the book the same way we all speak amongst ourselves about what really happened. I mean, what really happened since Brown versus Board of Education when, as you said in the speech, people marched and were willing to be hosed and knocked upside the head, and there was an ethic for our culture, for our race, that education brought success, that education opened possibility. And then what happened?
I think
what happened that we lost that?
The loss of contact with what that movement was all about, for civil rights and getting ahead. And a lot of people kind of fell into decadence that we see on the media all the time, from the gangster rap to people not caring about their neighborhoods. Even since the civil rights movement, we have more black people hurting other black people, killing other black people. It's like we're kind of wallowing in the decadence with people kind of caving into it. Not enough people like Bill and others talking about what people can do for themselves.
On page 16, early on in the book, you talk about fathers missing from the families. I love what you had to say about fathers. Let me find it here, about this very idea that the situation is by no means hopeless, because we just have to get these fathers to realize that the children they sired are their children and always will be their children, and by walking away, they have punished their children. They leave these children feeling abandoned. Once they come and claim their children and feel the joy and beauty of being hugged or being with their children, they will at least begin to understand what fatherhood is all about. But let's not kid ourselves either. This is much easier said than done.
That's right. Fathers are very, very important. Right now, 70% of black babies each year are born to single mothers. And they're not all teenage mothers.
70%?
Are born to single mothers in the black neighborhood. Many of these fathers are not present. They're absent. Many of them are even incarcerated. Many don't have jobs. They're not employed. And a lot of these young men don't even feel that it's important to be a father, because many of them grew up in fatherless homes.
Right.
They don't know what the true
And so
family
the cycle continues.
The cycle just
Hurt
continues.
people. Hurt people.
Hurt people. Hurt people. Hurt people.
That's right. These children not only feel abandoned, but the children are also angry because they feel abandoned.
First they get sad.
Yeah, they're
First
sad.
it's sad.
Right,
Yeah.
it's sad. There's the grief and the sad, and later they get angry. And who knows how this is all playing out in terms of even the violence that young males have toward each other.
Yeah, it starts out sad. That sadness turns into anger, and that anger turns into rage.
Hello?
Hello.
But every study says that children who have involvement of their fathers, whether the parents are divorced or separated or they never married, that the children do better.
Yeah.
But the men don't know that, and we have to get a message out there that it's critical that they're involved with it.
What you say, and come on, people, is that without being told and told often, young men simply do not know or understand what a father's responsibilities are. And you all understand, if nobody ever told you, you never were fathered, then you don't understand what it means to be a father. Many of them have never seen a real father in action. Many do not appreciate that fathers are important to a child's healthy development, or that being unemployed or separated, an unwed father can still interact with their children and contribute significantly to their well-being. I think a lot of fathers who don't have jobs, or they, didn't marry the mother, they feel a sense of guilt or sense of shame or whatever, and say, I don't have anything to give my kid, so I won't be in his life or her life.
Please don't make the mistake that fathers are better parents. We say that it's needed.
Yeah. I think you said it best, and I think everybody's going to remember this. Hurt people hurt people.
That's not my saying. I didn't make it up. I mean, I said it, but I didn't make it up. Don't give me credit.
Okay. I got to take a commercial break.
All right.
But I love it.
Where do we go?
Just sit down. We'll be right back.
Up next, their child was gunned down on his way home from school. Why they say it could happen to anyone. Closed captioning provided by the maker of the following product.
Both my mom and my grandmother would experience bloating, irregularity. My mom told me about Activia.
I tried it and I'm hooked.
Danon Activia is clinically proven to help regulate your digestive system in 2 weeks.
Love Activia. Are you kidding me?
Annette and Ronald Holt know firsthand what Bill Cosby and Dr. Poussant are talking about, because their 16-year-old son, Blair, was gunned down just a few months ago here in Chicago by another teenager while riding home from school on a bus. It was very big news here in our city. What do you want parents to know? Annette, stand up, from what happened to your family.
Well, the one thing I want to say is that you don't think it'll ever happen to you. We did all the right things. We would take Blair to school every morning. We would pick him up from school until he got older, and he was like, "Mom, Dad, let me catch the bus home." Yeah. And we trusted that and let him. What parents should get from this is that it could be you too. It doesn't, we did all the right things. He was a wonderful child. He was a joy. And we did all the right things. Parents need to step up.
He was a joy, a good student.
He was a good student. So what parents need to do is they need to step up to the plate. You need to know who your child's friends are. You need to know where they're going. You need to take them. We went to movies together. Even as a teenager, I would take them to parties. I would pick them up. I would meet the parents. I didn't trust the streets to raise my child. We invested so much in our child. We were gonna produce a wonderful child.
But from everything that I read in the papers here, he died a hero.
Yes, he died a hero. He protected a schoolmate, friend Tierra Reed. He shielded her from being severely injured on the Metro bus, and he died a hero. And
the story was this kid just got on the bus. He was actually looking for somebody else, right?
Yes, it was an adversary that was on the bus. Blair and the other 4 kids who were shot, they were unintended targets, and he never even shot the adversary. So it's a terrible loss.
This horror and tragedy is being repeated all over the country.
And obviously you guys had heard stories. I mean, you knew about, how difficult it is growing up in some of these communities. You never thought it would be you, because you were doing everything to the best of your ability to raise a good son.
Right, with the jobs that we have. I'm a firefighter, he's a police officer. We see so much of this in the streets, and we knew what we were dealing with out here, and we just thought that we were doing everything to protect him and get him to college, and that was our goal next year, to go away to college. We had dreams and plans, and they're all just gone. That was our only child.
This is it's a challenge for all of us.
Everyone owns a part in this, just not African Americans and Hispanics, all of us, because it could be any of your children, any of your nieces, nephews. It could even be your parents. It could be you. If we don't all step up to the plate and do something, we're going to all be living in a world that we're afraid to go out and just do anything in life.
I've seen quite a bit, and to lose Blair to the very thing that, I fight against and enforce against has been very horrific for me, my family, friends, and everyone who knew and loved Blair.
Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back in a moment.
Two teenagers, the alleged shooter and the teen who allegedly provided the gun that killed 16-year-old Blair Holt, have been charged with first-degree murder. Coming up, what all parents need to tell their children about the N-word. Next.
It's your first blind date, and surprise, you found a prince that's quite charming. But what if your teeth aren't exactly Snow White, and your breath? Yikes! Calm down.
Introducing Crest Extra White Plus Scope Toothpaste. Unlike other toothpastes, it combines scope freshness with the extra whitening power of Crest.
For fresh breath, a whiter smile, and maybe a chance to live happily ever after.
New Crest Extra White Plus Scope Toothpaste. Also try new Scope White Mouthwash.
We got people raising children who don't want to know anything. Say they're not going to live, and you won't challenge them. I don't want to flip burgers. I'd make more money out dealing drugs. Listen to me, idiot. Nobody asked you to flip burgers for the rest of your life. Ask the man from Ethiopia. He will flip some burgers. Why? Because somehow he knows he's going to become the manager of the place.
That was Bill Cosby at a call out in Washington, D.C. Bill Cosby and Dr. Alvin Poussant are on talking about their latest work together, Come On People. It's a book about the path from victims to victors. So more than anything, this is a call out for people to begin to first of all, to look at the situation that we're in. Because I think a lot of people don't realize how bad it is.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, people, if you talk to some, they actually believe that it's okay to not go to the school to talk to the teacher about their child.
Or they think that just because I get up and I send my kid to school every day, I've done my part. Or
that the school says your child is not coming to school, and they say, that's your job.
Yeah, we're dealing with a high school dropout rate among black males in most urban areas of over 50%. And in some cities, it's 75%.
That's right.
These men, boys drop out of school, and about 60% of them end up at some point in jail.
That's right.
So it's a kind of cycle. Dropping out, going to jail, and then not being able to be constructive members of the community, and then tearing at the community, crime, violence, homicide, killing each other.
Okay, we have questions. Angela Wooten, where's Angela Wooten?
Yes.
And you have a question? Yeah.
I'm a Chicago public school teacher. I've been teaching for 15 years in the inner city, and I'm frustrated because teaching kind of has been pushed aside from me because I'm dealing with other issues like my children come to school unclean, they're hungry, the father or father figure that's in the home may have fought the mother. Parents need to be more accountable for their children. I just wanted to ask Dr. Cosby if he has any suggestions out as to how I can get parents to come into the schools and help me be a better teacher.
What grade?
I teach Head Start. That's 3- and 4-year-olds, which is the basic thing.
Good. I was at Florida A&M, and the teacher stood up, tears running. I send letters, I email, nobody responds. This lady stood up, a student teacher. She said, what I do is when the bell rings, the child that I'm interested in at the time, I follow that child out of the building. The child usually leads me to an adult. And I say, hi, I'm so-and-so's teacher. And who are you? So forth. I've been trying to reach you all this time. So maybe you might try that. Okay? How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank
that was
you.
Florida A&M. I didn't make that up.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was a young guy on here who won a teacher award. Ron Clark was his name. He went to every single home of every single child that was going to be in his classroom. I think he taught 5th grade. And he said at first the parents thought he was crazy because he's knocking on the doors to actually have a visit with the parents before he started the semester with their children. So it means you taking a more proactive involvement. And the parents, once they realize how much you really care, I think for a lot of them, it encourages them to care. Because as they're saying in their book, a lot of parents don't even understand what their engagement means. They don't even understand it. So you got a lot of work cut out for you.
Definitely.
Where's Trudy Ritchie? Trudy?
Here.
Hi. What you want to ask?
Hi. I want to address the use of the N-word. In my community, I live in a predominantly white community. I have never heard that word used. It's not used in my home. I've never heard people in the community use it, but yet all of the kids know it. All of the white kids know it because of music and movies, and they think it's like no big deal. And I've talked to my kids about it, and I've told them, you know, it is a big deal, and I'm very uncomfortable with that word.
How old is your child?
I have a 17-year-old and a 21-year-old.
Yeah. So what's your question?
My question is, what do we tell our kids?
About the N-word.
About the N-word.
You tell them that's a vicious, awful, demeaning word that has led to the killing, lynching, and the demoralization and feelings of inferiority in black people, and that you can't make that word positive. That's a lot of nonsense when gangster rappers say that. You can't make it positive. The same people who say they're using the N-word as a positive word at nighttime and other times when they're killing each other are also using it and using it on each other. And it really damages our children. I think we should never justify it.
Thank you for saying that. I think you write in the book, Come On People, you say that Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, they must be turning over in their graves.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. We'll be back in a moment. Good question, Katie. Good job.
Coming up, Bill Cosby calls him a victor, the young man who refused to let the murder of his family destroy his life. All new, a 5-bedroom home, 3 brand new cars, extravagant parties for their 6 kids.
That was about $4,000.
They can't afford any of it.
I'll buy something even if I really don't like it because I have to come out with something.
Most people think that we have money. They would be pretty shocked to know that we didn't.
Financial powerhouse Susie Orman with tough love for families about to lose everything.
I don't want to give up stuff. I'm totally scared.
A last-ditch effort that may save you too. Tomorrow.
Last year, Bill Cosby met a young man he says he'll never forget. William Killebrew grew up in a poor, crime-ridden neighborhood outside of Washington, D.C., and recently took our cameras back to the place where he says his childhood literally came to an end.
We're going to a home where really was a focal point of my growing up with my mother, the last days of her being alive. It's been a while since I've even driven past, and I don't think I've ever gotten out of the car. Oh, God. Just remember coming out of this house and just running up the street.
The last time William stood on this street, he was just 10 years old. It was July 2nd, 1984, when he woke up to the terrifying sound of his mother screaming.
It was right there, right in front of the house, right in front of the driveway. Her boyfriend was dragging her. That's when he came in, and he just started immediately loading his gun, and then he went over to my mother, and then he put the gun up to her face, and he just shot her about 2 times in her face, and she dropped right on the floor immediately. And I just remember all of this blood coming out of her mouth and just going all over the floor. And then he went to my brother, and then he shot my brother. Then he came to me, and he put the gun to my head. He squatted down. He did the squat like this, and he put the gun to my head. I immediately said to him, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. I'll do anything, I'll do anything. And I asked him, and he didn't say one word to me. And that's when I looked up into the sky. I was like, God, please, please don't let him kill me, please don't let him kill me. And for some reason, he just pulled back. And then he said to me, you can leave. Just ran right down here on the right. And just was banging on the door. When they asked me, well, what's going on, what's wrong? And I could only say my mother. And they kind of just, you know, settled me down, you know. They settled me down. I didn't know what was going on, you know. Just pretty lost. No.
God, William, thank you for taking us back there. But what happened to you? Obviously, you're here. William's here. Oh. So what happened to you after that?
Wow, I lost everything. I mean, I lost my mom. I was a mama's boy, so I went everywhere with her. And, you know, that day I actually wanted to go with her, but, you know, when it came to me pleading for my life, I decided that I wanted to go the other way, just at 10. You know, I was lost growing up as a teenager, and I didn't know where I was. I was just in a life of despair. I just had all my feelings just bundled up. Didn't get a chance to actually talk about it.
So who helped you?
Wow, my grandmother. I mean, she jumped right in that day. And she's been going ever since. She worked, I think, a week after.
Well, thank God for the grandmothers. Thank God for the grandmothers. Thank God for the grandmothers. And so, despite what he's been through this May, despite everything he's been through, William will be the first in his family to graduate from college. Come on, people. What was your inspiration?
I just had that inspiration from teachers, from, you know, from friends in the neighborhood who really cared, and you know, my grandmother and my sister here, and people like that.
Your sister survived. Were you in the house at the time?
No, I was across the street.
You were across the street in that moment. You were across the street in that moment. Yeah.
I have a question. What do you have to say since you lived down there, in there? What is it that you see? What do you feel about people moving in the direction, the drugs?
It's just you know, it's an unfortunate road, and I even, after my mom's death, I was susceptible to that as well, going in that direction. But you know, having strong people around you, having a feeling that you don't want to go in that direction anymore. You're tired of it. You're tired of seeing it. It's all around you. Somebody's got to jump out there and make a way.
But it's all around you, so does it all sound okay with the people all around you? The drug dealers, even the people who are not taking the drugs, but who happen to be around there, do they make it sound like it's all right, sis?
They always make it sound like it's all right, but it's not all right. And I took that road as well, and I was a victim.
Of which drug?
I sold all the drugs. Cocaine.
Okay.
And it was almost like a family thing. But so I was the victim, but I had the village around me, my grandmother, the teachers, the coaches, everybody. And your book, I became the victor. I now work for National Black Child Development Institute, and we're advocates in Washington, D.C. I'm giving back to the community because they gave to me. And I thank the Lord that he put people in my life because I can stand now and not have to remain in that spot as a victim.
But when you see you and these females dealing drugs, what's the great sentence you give that can turn them around?
You know what? I was in your shoes, but I'm standing now. They told me that I would never be anything. I wouldn't make it. But I'm standing because I had a choice. Somebody showed me that it was another alternative. Somebody told me that I had a choice.
that I didn't have to live with what I was dealt. I didn't have to deal with it, that I can go higher. Because, you know, I took that road. I had a baby at 16. I did all of the wrong things, thinking that I was no one and nobody cared. But somebody reached out to me, my coaches, my grandmother, the teachers, my pastor.
You know what it is? It's about what, the little hairs on my head are raising, because in the book you all talk about the expectations. That when your teacher has expectations of you, there's a quote that you all give in the book. I'm going to find it and come back and read it. Thank you. You all are to be celebrated. You're to be celebrated. You're to be celebrated. We'll be right back.
What kind of father is Bill Cosby? We'll ask him next. All new. It's the side of the story we rarely get to hear, straight from the source. They've been the other woman.
We would see each other 3 or 4 times a week.
He would buy me lingerie.
Our sexual chemistry was fantastic.
Did you ever at any time think about the wife? What kind of lies is he telling his wife? Why didn't he marry you?
Then, betrayed wives revealed the moment they found out.
You were pregnant with your 4th child?
And she sued her husband's mistress. The verdict? Friday.
About the new book. Come on, people. Dr. Cosby and Dr. Poussant write this. They say that low expectations, what I was trying to think of that quote, low expectations coming from a teacher can cause a child to fail, but coming from a parent, low expectations can crush the soul. So you were surrounded by people, your grandmother, coaches, other people, who had a higher expectation for what you could be.
Yes.
And you were able to see the light of that.
Yes.
And that's why you're standing.
Yes.
Because somebody saw what you could be.
Yes.
You know, when you finish reading the book, it's all about us raising our expectations for what is possible for our children.
And getting hope.
Mm-hmm.
So we think that parents, first of all, from the very beginning, have to respect and care and nurture their children and not do bad things for them. We have so much child abuse. We have so much domestic violence. We have so many parents psychologically abusing their children. You can see it on the street.
Yeah.
You're stupid. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
You
Come
know?
on here.
Yeah, come
Shut your
yelling
mouth.
around.
Yeah.
So that even before they get to school, many of them are like damaged in the way they think about themselves.
The way we speak to the
Right, the way we speak to them, and then they become angry, and then we beat them too much. And then they become more angry, and then they want to do violence to other people. We have to get our things
And we
together.
beat them because we were beaten.
That's right, frequently. And we think that it works when it doesn't work. You beat kids a whole lot, you're much more likely to end up really abusing them. And a lot of the inmates in jail, particularly for violent crimes, but like 80, 70% of them have been victims of child abuse themselves. So violence begets violence in the home. And
so if you go on Oprah.com, after the show, go to Oprah.com. We're going to have Dr. Poussant and Bill Cosby talking about what to do as alternatives for spanking. Because I know a lot of you watching like, well, if you don't hit them, what you going to do?
Yeah, right.
I've heard...
I want to know what kind of parent you were before I go to break, though, because, you know...
I was fantastic. I never made a mistake. All I had to do was say, where's your mother?
No, but Bill, this is a serious question, because I think, you know, people forget that you were raised not the richest guy in the world, and that you know, worked your way up. I think you and Camille, let's give her the credit, you and Camille did a great job. I remember being in your house one time, and the kids were saying they wanted something, and you said, this is mine.
Mine's.
This is mine. This is my house. You were just, you get to live here.
Right.
Okay. We'll be right back.
What do you think parents should do if they want to know what their children are really up to? Bill Cosby's urgent plea to parents next. All new, financial powerhouse Susie Orman with tough love for families about to lose everything.
Most people think that we have money. They would be pretty shocked to know that we didn't have money.
A last-ditch effort that may save YouTube. Tomorrow.
First of all, there's a friend of mine, and he has a thing called shakedown. He doesn't have it, but he talks to his congregation, telling parents why they don't have to knock on a door, a bedroom door of a child, and say, "May I come in?" And he says that in prison you have the shakedown. So the guards come, you stand, drop your trousers, they stop the water flow, turn off the light, do things, and they check your place out. Why? Because you don't pay any rent. This is not your place. You're in prison. They got the National Guard, he says. He says, this is your house. If your child has a gun, you should know. Look under the mattress. They're stupid enough. Every child on the face of this earth always thinks they'll never look here. And look under the mattress. Look under the bed. You don't trust me. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Look up in the ceiling. Look around the thing. Read the materials on the wall. Have a little look at the internet. MySpace. How many times have you seen things go wrong and the parents say, well, I didn't want to look in there. I didn't want, but the signs are there. Who are you playing with? Who are these people? Why do you have to? What is your homework? We have parents who don't know what subjects the children are taking, who don't know when the test is coming, who don't know if they've finished, don't know the grades. We must know. You're in a time, ladies and gentlemen, those of you living in these areas where the area can eat you alive. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the problem here? Why are we worried about dirty laundry? I'm talking about dead young males, gone. Young females on drugs, gone. Brains fried. Believe a child when she says somebody's fondling her. Believe that you've got to go to see the teachers when you're a parent. Believe that you can make your place clean. Also believe that just because you don't own it, that it doesn't belong to you. If you live there, clean it up. Make it look bright. Make it feel beautiful. That's yours. And that's your spirit. But you've got to think, people. You know it's wrong. Don't ask your daughter, what is that you're listening to? When your own senses tell you those were curse words. Stop the music. What?
Stop the music.
Stop the music.
I love that.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Coming up, no, the question is, can we turn this around? We're going to ask Bill that question next.
The Oprah Winfrey Show is brought to you in part by Dove. Every girl deserves to feel good about herself. Find out more at campaignforrealbeauty.com.
The November issue of O Magazine is on newsstands now. Turn back the clock on aging with Dr. Oz, his 2-week plan to help you stay young. Get your copy now.
The question is, can we turn this around?
Yes.
Bill Cosby. Thank you. Go to Oprah.com for their comment on spanking. We'll see you. Bye.